And then we have Joe Biden. He's speaking in Angola right now. But what is staying on his legacy? This pardon of his son that is so wide-sweeping, which we really know since it goes back to 2014 when Hunter started Burisma, is more of a pardon on him. Your reaction to Joe Biden, who we see here now, the lame duck president, who looks like he's given a blank, just pardon now to his son, which includes him. Do you think he'll pardon his brother as well? I mean, what is next, Governor?
Well, we know we can't trust Joe. He's been very dishonest and disingenuous about what he was going to do. He continually said, and he trotted his press secretary out to say that under no circumstance would he issue a pardon to his son. And then he did it. And of course, as usual, he tried to blame Donald Trump for it, saying, oh, Donald Trump will weaponize the Justice Department. Hate to break this to Joe, but it was his own Justice Department that prosecuted Hunter Biden. It wasn't the prosecution of Donald Trump. It was that the facts were irrefutable, yes. And he was convicted in a court by a jury of his peers in Delaware, for heaven's sakes, where he's from. So to say that somehow Donald Trump was behind it is absurd. I just don't even understand. If he wants to pardon him, that's his business. There is one caveat, and I've heard some legal minds discuss that because he's been given this pardon, he no longer is protected under the Fifth Amendment. So if he is called to testify about his father's business dealings, he no longer can say, I refuse to answer on the grounds that it may incriminate me, because he's been pardoned.
That's right.
His dad and the other members of the family have not been.
Yeah, and clearly it's selective memory. We all know the charges were slow walked by David Weiss, who he was prosecuted, but it was almost, with, consternation there, if not for the IRS whistleblowers. Real quickly, there's this theory going around now, well, that Biden perhaps should pardon Trump. Here's West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, Governor.
As a father, I don't know of a father that wouldn't have done the same thing. What I would have done differently, and my recommendation as a counsel would have been, why don't you go ahead and pardon Donald Trump for all his charges and make it, it had gone down a lot more balanced, if you will.
All right, but many say Donald Trump has done nothing wrong. What's your take on Manchin's comments there?
I think it's a genuine sentiment on Joe Manchin's part. I'll give him credit for that. It was kind. But the fact is, the state charges in New York are the ones that are still being held. It's not the federal charges. Those are all pretty much dropped. Jack Smith has been had his wings clipped, and he's been sent on his way. So I wish that they would all be dropped, because they're all nonsense. But I think President Trump's got to continue to fight them and get them dismissed on appeal. He doesn't need Joe Biden's help to do that. I think the law is on his side, and he will ultimately prevail.
Real quickly, in our last moments here, there is a lot of, I'd say, excitement about this new pick for FBI, Kash Patel, who'd be working most likely, if confirmed, under this woman, Pam Bondi of Florida, the former Attorney General in Florida, and now AG, meeting with Chuck Grassley yesterday. What's your message to these Senate Republicans? They have the majority. Donald Trump has made it clear. Pam, Kash, Pete Hegseth, these are the people he wants, Governor. What do you say to those who will ultimately be the ones nominating them and confirming them?
Well, to quote a line from the great movie Hoosiers, when Gene Hackman's character said, "My team is on the court," I think that's Donald Trump's message to the Senate. My team is on the court, and it's a good team. I think he's made some brilliant picks. There's one exception, maybe the ambassadors to Israel could be a real, maybe questionable mark, but the rest of them, they're disruptors. And I think that that's exactly what D.C. needs. It's what the people voted for, and it's what I hope will happen.
Certainly. Well, I think you're an ace. Governor Huckabee, soon to be Ambassador Huckabee, has a great ring. Thank you, sir. Good to have you with us today, and I hope you come back to Newsline very soon.
Always a pleasure, Bianca. Thank you.
Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.